everybody. My name's Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And I'm going to tell y'all another story for this edition. This story's set back in about probably 84, 85. I was 13, 14 years old, something like that. And a few years after my mother had left us, so it's just my father and us 4 kids, and I was the oldest kid. Well, my father had gotten a DUI and had his driver's license suspended. So it was up to me to drive to town and do the laundry. We didn't have washer and dryer, so I had to take him to the laundromat, do the banking, the grocery shopping, all that stuff. I had to do all that stuff. That was my responsibility. And at 13, I didn't have a driver's license, but the way the law works, I guess, or did back then, I don't know about this kind of stuff anymore, but if my father had been caught driving on a suspended license, he would have gone to jail. But if I got caught driving at 13, I would have just gotten a ticket. So I ended up being the one to drive. And this took place in a little town called Granger, Washington. I didn't live in town. We lived outside of town on the Yakima Indian Reservation, so it was probably 15 or 20 miles to town. So I would drive into town, do the errands, the laundry and the grocery shopping, whatever I had to do, banking, then drive home. That's how a lot of times I had to spend my Saturday or whatever. And our car had problems at the time. It was stalling really bad. None of us were mechanics, you know. My father was a horse trainer, and he had no mechanical or like handyman inclinations at all. That kind of stuff just wasn't his thing. And I didn't know anything, you know, at 13. So we just kind of drove it as best we could, but it would want to stall out at red lights and stop signs. So you had to like really mess with it, and it would be bucking, doing this kind of thing at red lights and stuff whenever you stop. So I'm doing that. I get the drive into town to take care of this stuff, and I come up to this stop sign, and the car starts bucking like that and trying to stall out. So I kind of halfway stop and make it through the stop sign and keeping the car running. And it was just up the street, just a little ways to the store I wanted to go to. And it was a small store. The parking lot was really small. It didn't even have the lines for parking spaces, you know. It just kind of parked where we wanted to. And so I make it up into this parking lot, and I remember there was a guy right in my way just standing there kind of looking at me like, you know, what the hell going on or whatever. So I kind of, you know, waved at him to get out of the way so I could park, you know, let him know I wanted to park there. So he moved, and I kind of got the car up there and it put it in neutral, pulled the emergency and turned it off, and it bucked for a few seconds after I turned it off. One of those things. So I'm looking around getting the stuff, and I go to get out, and there's a police officer standing at my door. I didn't notice him in the mirrors because of the guy that was in the way. I was paying attention to that guy, and then, you know, look down to turn it off and get it in neutral and emergency and all that stuff. So I wasn't really paying attention to my mirrors. And so when I got out, there's a cop right there at my driver's door, and my heart holy shit, I just scared to death. I didn't know what the hell. So I just rolled down the window, and you know, of course the cop says to me, you just ran that stop sign back there, son. And I said, well, you know, I was trying to keep the car running. The car is acting up. It was about to stall on me. And he said, well, let me see your driver's license. You know, I don't have one. And he says, what do you mean you don't have one? You don't have it on you? And I said, no, I don't have a driver's license. I'm 13 or whatever. And he's like, what the hell are you doing driving? You know you're going to get in trouble for this shit. So I explained to him, you know, I just told him the truth. I said, my dad's got a DUI. His license is suspended. If he gets caught driving, he goes to jail. I said, if I get caught driving, I get a ticket. I said, we gotta, you know, I'm here to do the grocery shopping and the laundry and stuff. And I showed him the laundry in the back. I said, I'm here to do, you know, that stuff has to get done. I said, I have no choice. I said, I don't want to be doing this, I want to be fishing or something. I don't have a choice, officer. And he said, all right. He said, wait here. So he went back to his cruiser, and I'm looking in the mirrors, looking at him, in his cruiser doing whatever, and my heart's just pounding, beating a hole in my chest, and sweat pouring down, and I'm just scared to death because I know, see, if I bring home a $200 ticket, my dad's going to throw me a beating, right? We can't afford $200. That's like, I don't know what it would be like now, $2,500, $3,000 or something. It's just crazy because of inflation and all that, how far the dollar goes, but it's a lot, right? So my dad's going to throw me a beating if I tell him that, the car was trying to stall at a stop sign or something. That wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. I'd still get a beating. So I'm just panicked, and I don't know what to do. That all kinds of stuff runs through my head. Do I just get out and run away, just on foot, just bail? I can't drive away in this piece of crap car because this cop car is going to catch me. You know what I mean? He just follow me back to my house and then arrest me. So, all kinds of crazy crap flew through my head though, but I just ended up sitting there until the guy came back. But eventually he came back. He walked back up to the window, and I'm, sitting there, and he asked me my name and everything. So I give him my name and our information and everything on the car, whatever. And he looks at me and he says, "Look at me, boy." And I look at him and he says, "I've told my wife this story once or twice, and every time I do, I get choked up. I don't know why so many years later this officer's act of kindness to a scared little boy can have such an effect on me, but it does. After everything I've lived through, everything I've been through, this one act of kindness from a stranger is what just gets me every time I try to tell the story. So, yeah, I'll try to make it through here. So the officer says, "Look at me, boy." He says, I'm telling you now not to drive this car home. You call somebody or get somebody to come and drive this car for you. Now, that's back in the day we didn't have cell phones and stuff, you know what I mean? I would have had to walk somewhere to find a payphone and then have somebody to call. And he knew I didn't, so. But he says, "I want you to get somebody to drive this car home. That's what I'm telling you right now." And I said, "Yes, sir." And it instantly through my mind, I'm flashing, there's no way. I don't have anybody. There's no way. I'm screwed. But he says, but I'm not going to watch you. I'm not going to sit here and watch you to make sure you do this. You understand? And I guess I looked at him kind of, confused, like I wasn't quite picking up what he was putting down, but he said, "Listen to me. I'm telling you to get somebody else to drive this car, but I'm not going to watch you. I'm not going to sit around here and make sure that you don't drive it. Do you understand?" And it was starting to dawn on me, and he said it again. "I'm not going to watch you." So finally it got through my head that he was just, if I was ever asked, that I was told by him to get somebody to drive me home. But he wasn't going to stop me again because he knew I had to drive home. You know what I mean? And that wasn't every weekend. I had to come into town to do laundry and do that kind of stuff. And none of those police officers ever bothered me again. They knew the car, they knew me, they knew that I was driving illegally, and they never bothered me again. because I wasn't, I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't creating havoc. They never got calls on me doing any dastardly stuff. I just came to town, I did laundry, I bought groceries, and I went home. And those small town police officers never gave me any grief. They knew I was wrong. They could have given me a ticket every weekend, and they never bothered me. So for the rest of the time I lived there, none of them ever bothered me. And I always look back at that, and I appreciate that whole police force just giving me a break, because at that time in my life I really needed one. It's not, this story isn't as crazy as my rattlesnake story. If you haven't seen that one, I'll put that one up at the end of this video, so you can click on it and watch that if you're interested. But I know this story isn't as crazy as that one, and I've got some really crazy stories from my life as a child, but this is actually the most meaningful story to me, and it's kind of hard to get through. I don't know if you could tell or not. I don't know how these things are really going to turn out until I'm done editing them, but kind of a tough one to get through because it just brings back those memories and emotions. Really tough time growing up, but sometimes the kindness of strangers can leave a really lasting impact on someone. And I think that's a lesson we all should learn and carry with us. I try to as best I can. I'd like to say to my subscribers that I have a poll up about the content of the show, and I'd like you to put your input in if you would, please. I'm trying to figure some stuff out here, but for a little more information, I just kind of put that poll up as a general guideline. But for a little more information on the subject, I'm not trying to be like Candace Owens or Alex Jones or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get all deep into politics or any of that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about doing. Just questions about everything, anything, just a little deeper in a little deeper subject matter. But no, I don't want to get political. I'm not going to talk about divisive stuff because we got plenty of that. Go on X or Facebook or whatever, and there's plenty of that stuff we can follow about gender or race or politics or anything, any kind of conspiracy theory you want. It's all out there. I'm not trying to redo something someone else is already doing. That's not my point. It's still going to be in a lighthearted vein. I'm still going to be me. I'm just going to be talking about stuff that I wonder about. That's all. That's all. It's just kind of off of the strictly Gen X subject matter that I normally do. I might talk about some other things that interest me. And so I still think you'll like it. It's not, some people in the comments are a little leery of me going off and into this deep political divisive thing. That's not what I'm talking about. The only way I can show you is by doing a video, which I think I'm going to do one day. I'll just do a video and see if y'all like it. So that's probably what we'll end up doing. But please let me know about how you feel about the matter in that poll, please. And that's all I have for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by buying me a cup of coffee, and I'll put that link in the description. If you're interested in Gen X gear, I'll put that link in the description as well. We got some pretty cool stuff over there: mugs, t-shirts, whatnot, stickers. And if you don't want to or can't support the channel in either one of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps a lot. And thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. It's really cool. I really enjoy doing that. So thank you for that. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.